Welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Age of Sail. Last episode we had a bit of a close call with the Continental Army and they ran us off the mainland, but now we're going to get some revenge on the high seas. Without any doubt, the French merchants will have to pay a tax for trading with our colonies. In addition to the merchants' cargo, a ship of the line should be enough to cover the bills. Generally, there are no ambushes at sea. We were in the right place at the right time, and despite spotting us 6 hours ago, they are now pinned against the coastline. Our large ships are on course to meet the enemy, but it will be some time until they arrive. The French convoy includes one ship of the line as expected and a large merchantman. I have heard that the French are better sailors than the Spaniards or the rebels. We'll soon find out. Now, our large ships are actually right here, because this is how we set our deployment. So already we have a ship of the line that can come in and harass both these little formations here. The ship of the line, we definitely want to capture that. She looks to be the same class as our existing ship of the line, Arrogant. So they will make a fine pair together. Holding fire for a moment. We don't want to fight the ship of the line at that range just yet. And we'll try and hit some of these closer ships and just really give them what for. Slow down a little bit. We have targeted the bow of USS Eagle. And fire. Retarget the bow because she's turning. Oh, not as effective as I would have liked. Not as effective as I would have liked at all. We'll keep running this course. And we'll get a few free shots. HMS Salamander out the back here and the Pearl aren't going to be too useful, but we'll probably try to use them to intercept the merchantmen. They're engaging two ships at once. The bow guns are firing, but going very wide of HMS George. Arrogante taking a new solution, going for USS Knight's lower hull. And there, because we are nice and straight to her, we've done a lot of damage, taken out lots of guns. USS Eagle has taken hits from Royal George as he passes by. HMS Falcon will switch sides here. Adjusting Arrogante's course a little bit to get a nice firing solution on the ship of the line. The Hippopotami. Oh, look at USS Knight. She is listing very badly. It's almost going to capsize. Hippopotami has taken their first broadside on Arrogante, and USS Knight has capsized and sunk into the depths. One solid broadside was all it took, low to the hull. She sank like a rock. Hippopotami is turning in hard with the wind. She's trying to engage on both sides. She must have an experienced captain. So long-range shots with grape shot won't do much to HMS Falcon though. We can't really turn against the wind, so we're going to have to expose our stern. Royal George is in a dangerous position. Fortunately, Hippopotami has just taken their first shots, so they'll take some time to reload. Arrogante will turn with the wind now to engage on both sides. HMS Salamander and Pearl are taking their time to get into combat. As the briefing says, we don't really need them. HMS Falcon should be able to easily finish off USS Eagle at that range and angle. Arrogante is turning around here to attack the Dolphin Royale. Firing grape shot. That won't be as effective against the Hippopotami, but we want to get rid of some of that crew out of the Dolphin. Royal George is coming across the bow and crossing the T of the Dolphin. There should be no issue to deal with that merchantman. Now we don't want to fight Hippopotami too long in a a gunfight. We want to get nice and close, we want to board, and we want to take control of the ship. She's going to be the matching pair of our ship of the line duo. So we'll give the boarding order now. And Royal George will come up on the starboard side here of the Dolphin. HMS Falcon has belayed orders, is heading towards the coast. Some more grape shot in there before we commence our boarding action. They are taking some crew losses, and that will help us when we actually get into the fight. Royal George coming up alongside. They also have orders to board. We are coming against each other, so that might be a harder boarding action. HMS Falcon is engaged with the USS Eagle, and Salamander is coming into the combat zone. Arrogante has thrown the ropes. Hippopotami is coming about now to line up her guns. Musket fire from the deck. Royal George has thrown ropes too, I think. The lines have been thrown. Both the ships of the line now have come into contact and the boarding operation has commenced. HMS Falcon taking care of that lonely little ship who got separated from her escort. The crew are wavering on the Hippopotami. It's only a matter of time. And we are looking very good. This looks like it's going to be a very quick battle. And we may have time to sneak another one in. We'll try and board the USS Eagle as well. Or are we waiting for the others to surrender? Royal George doesn't seem to be boarding yet. They still seem to be in gun combat. Hippopotami has surrendered, so we're taking control for the king. So we'll just transfer minimum crew. We don't expect to have to fight. USS Eagle is being boarded and is wavering. And this fight is all but done for. They are starting to pull away again. They're getting ballsy. They don't want us to board them, that's for sure. We have to be mindful that the ships of the line... Yep, she's now surrendered. So we'll quickly take control of that before we finish the mission. Send a boat crew over. And then the mission will be ours. USS Eagle has capitulated. Though we didn't take control because we forgot to send a crew aboard. So we'll have to do that as well. But this was a relatively laid-back mission. Royal Navy successful again. Right, so we captured 3 ships and sunk 1. A couple of upgrades. Some weapons were captured. And 3 ships. It seems we have lured the now combined French-American forces out to the open sea where we stand a better chance. Unfortunately, the rest of the fleet has been engaged elsewhere and we will need to engage the main French fleet, accompanied by ships of the line. I have always dreamed of the day when a mighty fleet of ships under my command would sail forth for glory of king and country. My forward line approaches the enemies and the giant sails of the French ships can be seen on the horizon. Our reconnaissance reports that the French have at least 1 ship of the line present in their formation. It's unlikely to score a decisive victory, but we can hold out long enough till night. We would be able to slip away into the darkness. Now we have added our brand new ship of the line to the fleet. So we've got Arrogante, Hippopotami, the Royal George and Falcon in their own squadron up the front. And they're going to take the fight straight to these French ships in the lead formation. Now my goal is to take down as many of these French ships as I can before the ships of the line come. I believe there may be 2. That's They look very similar. We've got a third-rate Belonia. And it looks like her sister behind her are identical. So we really do need to clear these ships away. I'm not too concerned about capturing them. Just destroying them, and then, if we can, capture the ships of the line. Having 4 ships of the line in our fleet would make us very formidable. The game seems to be scaling up in difficulty a little bit now, which is a welcome change. The last few ocean missions have been relatively sedate and very easy to accomplish. So we're going to swing by here for a grape shot. See if we can't get them to surrender from brutal fire. Probably opened fire a little bit too early there and wasted those shots. As I've said in previous episodes, micromanagement of the ship is extremely important, and timing your gunnery can make a huge impact on the battle. Now, we're not going to let this line get past us. We're going to keep crossing them. They are faster ships than us, but it's not very wise for them to turn into broadside engagement with us. With a constant reminder that the longer we take to do this, the harder our fight will be when those ships of the line engage. My ships of the line are still fairly light. They don't have heavy weaponry, and so they are pretty fast. So if we have to, we'll do the same trick that we did in the Spanish Treasure Fleet mission and just stay ahead of their line, using the wind as our advantage. But we'll see how long that plan stays together. Both of our ships of the line are engaged. Royal George will follow up soon. I'm going to try and board this guy. We've got a very, very easy chance to board him. We can turn this over really quickly if we board them. All in on a line. And we'll follow suit with the Therese. Crew shock there. They've realised the fight that they've got themselves into. Is the boarding going to take, though? That's the question. Doesn't look like it. We can't quite get close enough. Trying to line it up a bit more. He's pulling ahead of us now, so we may have to abandon that idea. It was just an opportunity thing. How are we going on this side? Throw the lines already. It says the angle's not right. It says the distance not right. Speed is right. Yeah, we're not going to get these boardings. Can be a little bit harder against faster ships to board them if they have the wind. They would rather turn away than let you climb aboard. Those ships of the line are coming into combat range. We have tarried a little bit too long. Flore is worried. Teresa is running away, but they still have a significant amount of crew and they haven't really taken much damage. They were just shocked at the fact that we tried to board them on the first engagement. A little bit optimistic the French may be. HMS Salamander and her reinforcements are coming up swiftly. Just going pure grape shot against these smaller ships. Oh, we've taken some damage to the stern there on Hippopotami. La Sensible has been able to fight us on both sides. She must have very big guns. Heavyweight guns. They're doing a lot of planking damage. We haven't really explored the cannon options yet. Been trying to consolidate the strength of our fleet before we look into the weaponry. Okay, those ships of the line are coming in very fast. They're entering engagement range. They only have to turn with the wind and they will be able to fire shots at us. So we're going to try and cross their T before that happens, I think. At least with Arrogante. Falcon should be able to deal with these smaller ships relatively easily. Salamander is almost in the combat zone. But our priority is to stay out of the guns of these ships of the line and hopefully board them. If we have to throw away some men to do that, like we did when we captured Arrogante, that is an option. Because I really, really want these ships. Having 4 third rates, it's a very attractive option. Royal George is engaged on 2 sides. No. Thought I saw her firing. Trying to stabilize this side before the main engagement happens over here with the ships of the line. We're taking our first shots into the bow of La Hector. The Flore is running to the ships of the line for some morale support. We'll try and take out some sails while we still have that T crossed. Slightly out of range to be able to help there with the hippopotami. Ships of the line can turn pretty hard. And so she can face us broadside fairly easily while we're still trying to stay ahead of her bow. So now we are in a broadside fight. We have a crew advantage. We are going for sails. She's going for hull. I really want to try and take away the mobility of these ships in the early stages. Flore has recovered from her morale shock. She's lost a lot of crew. Oh, what's happened down here? We've won that engagement. Take over that ship. We'll get Mustang out of the fight as a prize ship. Where's the exit? Against the wind. USS Piggott is in a little bit of trouble as well. She's taken lots of critical damage there. Taking shots from all members of that second squadron we have. Arrogante is taking some damage to her armor. She's slightly in their gun range. She's ahead of them, but not quite enough. And this French ship has a lot of sail, so it's probably quicker than us. We're carrying 10.5 knots. I'm not sure how fast Hector's going. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll keep pushing hard. Few solid hits there, not many bounces. We're getting through the planking. Our weapons are sufficient at that range. Hippo out the back there is taking care of the lighter ships just inside of their formation. Oh, USS Mustang, the ship we've just taken over, is sinking. We've just lost that prize ship. That's okay. These things happen sometimes. USS Piggott's taking all sorts of damage. Every type of critical you can take, she's taken it. We'll match speed with her. They've thrown the lines. Sensible's turning ahead of Royal George, trying to cross over the T there. We're just out of range with the Hippo, and Arrogante is still fighting Hector using that little trick we learned, staying ahead of the wind. We have better range than they do when the wind is blowing from behind. If we keep them upwind of us, we have a gunnery advantage. We'll turn in our second ship of the line, Hippo. Get her some fire on those light ships. I really want them out of the engagement. They were supposed to be deleted at the start. Grape shot really probably wasn't a great idea. I should have just round shotted everyone and then concentrated like I planned. Boarding underway on USS Piggott. Royal George, what are you doing there? Piggott sunk as well, so the second ship that we tried to board has sunk from damage. Arrogante is taking damage now from Hector. Hector keeps turning just enough to bring the guns on. So we need to bring that in a little bit. If she also drops her sails, Hector can get some extra range. Oh, we're about to run out of battlefield space here. Fortunately, we're going to have to turn away or we'll surrender. What's Hippo going to do? Smaller ships have done a fairly good job. Sensible is in some trouble. She keeps taking shots through her stern, so it's doing a lot of damage. The long guns that I have on my ships of the line aren't the greatest, so despite having a lot of range, they're not doing a great deal. Our close range 6-pounders and I think they're 12-pounders on the second deck are much more effective. Alright, so we'll cross each other here. Make sure to time the shots, there we go, so we don't get any friendly fire. Turn away a little bit. We're going to blow into the wind there. Use that wind to help us turn the Hippo around quickly. Aragante will keep going with her friend to her stern. Drop the sails on the Hippo to get her moving again after that little U-turn that we did. Oh, we're taking some friendly fire. Oh no, that's sensible. She's still not going down. Getting there. We're exposing our stern a lot in this fight. But my plan is to have a little zigzag fashion going here with both ships, crossing each other's fire lines. We should get continuous fire. But it really depends on what the French decide to do. So they're straightening out now into a line, so we'll match out with the line as well. Making sure to keep fire on sensible. We really want them out of the fight. Royal George is not taking my orders properly. Why is that? Oh, she's on a boarding order, but I don't have time to mess around. Sensible's taking fire. Royal George is still flagging. Get moving. It's the match speed order. It seems to be a little bit buggy. I haven't been able to get it to work properly. Alright, so the French ships of the line have fallen to the rear of the formation. They've got the frigates at the front. Royal George is pushing hard on Sensible, trying to take her out of the fight. Just experimenting with the shot types there, trying to see what ranges we've got. Royal George just can't get on in the game tonight. So we'll use our smaller squadron to cross their T there. Nice line formation. Hippo and Aragante are still independent of each other. But we really need to try and pick off these light frigates. They're a bit of an annoyance and they stop us from concentrating on the ships of the line. Keep them in turning, keep them turning. There we go, we've had Floria has sunk, they've detonated. Sensible is just refusing to go down. I've been a little bit slack with Royal George today. Not happy with my micro on him. Smaller squadron are of marginal use. We might anchor them up. Alright, Sensible has surrendered, so we'll get some boats in the water, get them under our control. Slowing down time for a second there to get this underway. Smaller squadron can turn back there to support the main fight up ahead to the north.
So we just need to get the crew back onto the Salamander. Get these ships back into formation. Sensible's still firing her guns despite... Oh, we've got control of her? Okay. She's not in a very good state, but we'll just try and get her straight off the battlefield. Our 2 ships of the line have managed to take down one of the smaller escorts. The crew are frantically trying to get aboard their allied ships of the line. Hippo coming around. We can't really turn any more that angle, otherwise we'll be running against the wind too much. Still trying to get the formation. We don't want them to run into this fleeing prize ship. Take some evasive action and then get back underway. Things are looking pretty positive. That rear ship of the line taking on extra crew will make her harder to board. We've lost a lot of speed coming against the wind like that. But we'll be able to get one more shot off, I reckon. Okay. Trying to navigate sensible around this formation here. Royal George and Salamander underway. And they can come back and support this action here. We try and take out the mast, then they'll lose all ability to fight. All ability to flight, I should say. They'll still be pretty brutal in a fight. Wind has changed to southwest now, meaning that they're going to run at us a bit harder. Trying to take down the sails, like I said. We are taking small amounts of damage off their sail stat. Coming in hot with the shells. I haven't had a lot of success with the different types of shells. The chain shot and the grape shot. Round shot seems to be the most effective. Just batter them down and then board them. One last desperate attempt to do some damage to the sails. Our prize ship has left the battle, and the rest of our smaller frigates and the brig will join up with Salamander and the Royal George. And then we'll use them to harass this last remaining French ships. Very resilient, these ships. They've done more damage to us than we've done to them. They have a 78 guns on board their ships. Mine are 68 gun ships and we've taken some losses. Trying to get Arrogante in front of Hector here. But she keeps turning to give the angle. So our round shot isn't doing as much damage as it could. A couple of their solid broadsides. We're still using chain shot on Hippo. Now that we've done a bit of damage to the armor, let's see if we can't get through with some grape shot. Get those crew levels down to make it a bit safer to board them. We have that wind advantage, so they can't fire back at us. Their range is severely reduced. Sensible has successfully retreated. Royal George, the former leader of the flying squadron from the earliest episodes of our campaign, is leading a harassment squadron tonight. Our two flagships are really whittling down the Hector. Arrogante is running the canister shot, or the grape shot, and Hippo is using the round shot. This is really an ideal engagement. Though I haven't really figured out how I'm going to get close enough yet to board them. I'm hoping to make them surrender from losing so much crew. The more damage we do to the hull, the more damage the canister shot will do. Arrogante is now taking fire because the wind has changed a little bit. She's getting a little bit too close. Trying to match the speed there with Hippo so we don't have to micro as much. There we go, the wind has changed to northwest. So these guys are turning to run with the wind, and we've got an opportunity here to... Oh no, he's turning back. He's closing the distance with us, so he's going to go for a broadside. It's not much we can do to avoid this one. Oh, he's turning back. Is he turning back? No. He doesn't really know who he wants to shoot at. Arrogante is trying to make sail damage again. We need to keep our advantage with the wind as long as we can. And we still have a second ship of the line to work our way through yet. This battle is going to turn out to be a long one. This video will be longer than the usual. But we're making a really good habit of outsailing our enemies at every turn. Royal George, I've got her to chase the stern of the Palmier. Almost got enough angle to cross over the bow here of Hector. She's turning to try and angle. But that's just exposing more broadside for Hippo. Does look like she's going to unmask her guns any moment though. Condition on both of our ships of the line. The crew are getting very tired, but morale is extremely high. We have to try and turn Hector around to the northeast so that we can take advantage of that gun elevation. At the moment with that wind, he's got angle on us and he's got elevation. Well, look at the range that Hippo's got sitting on the wind at the correct angle. Hector's using, we're using grape shot still at close range. We're trying to get all those crew down. It just doesn't seem to be happening. Making excellent work on the planking though. Morale is starting to suffer. Well, that was a lot of damage actually. We just took a lot of hits then. She got an absolutely full deck broadside on us. Hippo's not using all her guns, she's just using her long range stuff, so we're not getting the full DPS from her, but she's been absolutely great work. Arrogante is cutting in front enough now, which is good. Hector is going to go down, I think. I don't think we'll be able to capture her. It's just too risky. Royal George and the Flying Squadron coming up astern. We're going to put some stern shots on the Palmer. Try and take down one of the masts, so then we can isolate the two ships. Okay, they're all targeted up. Salamander's taking shots at the boat of refugees in the water. Try and cut in a little bit closer and a little bit ahead of Hector. We're reaching the limits. We're reaching the limits of our turn there. The wind is really pushing against us. We'll bring Royal George about. We don't want to get caught up in the gun angles of that Palmer if she decides to fall out of formation and face that threat. Hippo's still got free reign. Palmer has some stern guns. But Royal George should be fine for now. Just keep riding up on that stern, and if we get a chance, we will just run up alongside her and board her. We might take some damage from a broadside, but as long as we get on board quickly, we should be okay. Both ships have almost stopped dead. They have no forward momentum by the look of it. Hector's waiting for these refugees, that's why. Make sure we've targeted the ship so she doesn't shoot at the survivor boats. Because they've stopped now, they've got a little bit more range, so Palmer's just taken shots at Hippo at maximum range. The wind isn't pushing the ships down anymore. We'll turn hard to starboard and try and get some shots into the stern of Palmer. You have to turn really hard to port. We've reached the extent of our momentum as well, but it doesn't matter because they're not moving yet, and they probably won't drop sails until that last boat gets on board. Oh, Royal George is coming dangerously close to the gun angles of the Palmer. We're about to fire, need to hold it a little bit longer. Fire starboard broadside into Palmer. She's on fire, we've caused a fire, we've caused a lot of damage. Oh no, Royal George is just come into the firing angle. She's getting absolutely smashed. Sorry there, old chaps. We won't fall for that again. Bring Salamander about. Fall her out of formation. Hippo's reaching the extent of her gunnery range. Uh-oh. Now Palmer's running alongside Royal George. Oh no, this is a bad position to be in. Try and turn in a bit. Try and cut in behind. Salamander's going to come up between the two ships of the line. That's also a dangerous maneuver. Oh, we've left ourselves exposed for two ships to take raking fire. This is backfiring on us. Arrogante and our two ships of the line are putting fire onto Hector. Hector is replying. Now we have exposed our stern on Arrogante. Oh, this is not good. Not good. Royal George's morale has taken huge beating, as well as the portside planking. But as long as we can get behind Hector, we should be safe. Hector is on fire and has lost observation. Both of our flagships now pouring fire onto Palmer. Arrogante's lost observation deck. These French ships are extremely resilient. Hector especially is putting up a fantastic fight. And now because of the wind situation, we don't have much range. They're downwind of us, so they have a gunnery advantage. Arrogante is taking a little bit too much damage for my liking, and Hippo is exposed from the broad. Stern exposed, we're being chased down by Palmer. Turn around before she decides to do something. Oh, Royal George is still getting pounded. We need to bring Falcon in front and hopefully to shield. Royal George is taking on water. What shall we do? What shall we do? Hippo, turn about to port. Get some fire onto Palmer. Nice raking fire there through the bow. We hit the powder room, but no critical. Arrogante is taking on water. We need some time to recover our condition. Get that water pumping out and get the men back on the guns. Royal George is in serious trouble. They've lost a mast. Falcon's doing their best to try and block the fire and absorb that aggro. HMS Pearl is just in the way. Salamander's taking fire from Palmer at long range. What are we going to do? Arrogante is still taking on water, so we need to stabilize that situation. Hippo needs to turn about. Try and get another shot through the bow of Palmer. take some aggro off of Arrogante. Nothing spectacular there. Oh, I missed it in all of the chaos, but it seems we've lost the HMS Royal George. That's not good. Not good at all. So we really need to push hard on Palmer now. We've been dicking around too much. Salamander's pushing in on Hector. Hector's taking on water, so we're going to see if we can start a boarding action. We're taking friendly fire from our other ships of the line. It's all kind of falling apart, just like Hector's mast. Mast is down. They've lost sail power. Their crew is in shock. Pearl has taken a brutal broadside and she's really just in the way. She's a prize ship that I just didn't get rid of. Arrogante is now boarding Palmer, thank goodness. We do have an advantage and they already have a morale malice. We've got that underway. Hector is taking big hits as he's trying to pull the lines in. Hector is proving to be a pain in our neck. Pearl's in trouble. We need to deploy the boats and get them on board. Salamander. Help that boarding action like when we originally took the Arrogante. Way back at the start of the campaign. Everyone's in the water. Get on board the Salamander and get on board the Hector. They're still shooting the broadsides at us. We just can't get over the rails. We're at full crew. We can't put any more boats on there. Everyone's swirling around in the water to try and frantically get access to the ship. Salamander's in actual big trouble. We can't get the lines on. We're attached, we just can't start boarding. What is going on? Now we have a fire, which has spread to the Hector. Oh, this is just chaos at its finest. Falcon's now taking raking fire because we've been too absorbed with the boarding action. We've lost all sense of coordination. Salamander is on fire. We're losing men. Boats are swirling in the water around Hector. What are we going to do? Falcon is just going to straight up ram Hector. Ramming has commenced. Now we need to get everyone onto Falcon and try and replicate a boarding action or some semblance of a boarding action. Palmer, the other ship of the line, has finally surrendered. We have lost Midshipman Duncan Spears, killed in action. Let's get some men onto the Palmer to stabilize their damage control. Hector's burning. We're finally on board. We're finally boarding with the Falcon. We're losing men at an exponential rate. The ship is on fire. There would be absolute chaos down there on the decks. The crew managed to get the fire underway. Flooding's still happening. Can we actually... Will this ship be even worth taking? She's been beaten into submission. Hopefully, as soon as we take it, the mission will end. And we won't need to worry about it. Hector's crew just leveled up to the 3 stars. Oh no. Hector sunk. Oh dear. And we've lost 3 ships. We've lost 3 ships, but we've gained 1 ship of the line, 3rd rate. I don't feel good about that. I don't feel good about that. We lost a lot of men. 1,200 men were lost. But we did capture one ship of the line and 1 frigate. Unfortunately, we lost Hector, which was the more powerful of the ships. That concludes another episode. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a like and I'll catch you next time. Commander Tyrael, out.